Hey, sorry for the interruption, but we wanted to let you know that this week's episode is brought to you by Spotify for Podcasters. Really cool app. Josiah and I use it for every single show that we bring to you every week. You can edit podcasts right from your phone or computer, so you can start creating as soon as you log into the platform. You can easily distribute your podcasts to Spotify and everywhere else the podcasts are heard, just like we do every single week. You can also create video podcasts on Spotify, which is really cool. And of course, you can earn money like I'm doing right now by including ads and even podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free. There's no catch. We really love it. We use it every single week. So we encourage you to go download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started. All right, let's get back to the show.
Welcome back to the Print on Demand cast. On today's show, we're talking about how to deal with angry customers. Everyone's favorite. Let's get into it. Welcome back, everybody, to the Print on Demand cast. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's show. And as always, before getting into the meat and potatoes, the nitty-gritty, the main course of the episode, whatever you're listening to this on, do us a favor and like and subscribe and review and all those other things. Be greatly, greatly appreciated because it helps us defeat the mystical algorithm. So, with all that to say, super looking forward to this episode and everyone's favorite topic. And joining me, as always, on today's show, co-host Travis Ross from Make Your Mark Design. Travis, how's it going, man?
All right. It is it's Tuesday as we're recording this, and it's just another day, I guess. I don't know. Not a lot of craziness happened today. Back's a little better, actually a lot better than it was last week.
What did you do to fix it? Anything
I waited.
Okay. Just the old waited out.
Yep. I just waited until it decided not to hurt anymore. And it still hurts a little, but I don't know, dude. It's just one of those things that I went to the chiropractor yesterday and he made it worse, like really bad for the rest of the day. But did wake up today feeling a little better. So maybe what he did worked. And I probably shouldn't have punched him, but
you can never go back.
Yeah, can't go back. So I got to find a new chiropractor and we'll go from there.
Well, best of luck in your chiropractic search. Hopefully you're able to find another one that you can freely assault when they hurt you and they won't kick you out or deny your business. So that's wild. Well, man, that's good to hear. Your day was good. My day was pretty standard. Nothing too crazy, but excited to dive into the episode. And actually, really, I say actually like I'm not usually interested in the points of interest that we bring to people, but I actually am like, this is cool. I'm really excited to show people what we have for them in this week's point of interest.
Point of interest.
All right, Travis, this week's point of interest is something called Font Cloud, which tell us what in the world is Font Cloud? It sounds amazing, and it is.
It is actually amazing. Pretty much everybody's heard of Creative Fabrica, and if you haven't, you need to. It's a really cool website that you can subscribe to and get all kinds of like fonts and graphics and just, editable templates and mock-up templates and just all kinds of really cool, like millions and millions of files. However, they also have a lot of other things on this website, including some tools, and one of them is Font Cloud. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here if I can figure out how to do that. How about I push that button? Hey, it worked.
Oh, wait, hold on.
That's the wrong one, though.
Do it
How
again.
about we do?
And there we go.
Boom.
We got it.
Podcast professionals. And so as you can see here, I'm on the Creative Fabrica website, and if you go to this tools in the menu bar, you come down here, click Font Cloud. I am logged in right now. This is a free online font manager, so you do not have to have an account for this. And you can open it, and once you're in, you see all of these different fonts that I've got loaded up over here. Now, I don't have very many loaded up because I just got this, but as you can see, they're all being previewed here. And all I have to do is I can like write something in here like print on demand, and I can see it. And you saw how fast that updated all of those fonts. Really, really cool. So you can upload TrueType fonts or OTF fonts. And that's it. So those are the only kinds you can, but you can, like I said, you can preview them all at once. And another cool thing about this is that you can, if you want to just like get a bunch of fonts and put them all on here and then say, okay, I really want to use this particular font, this Christmas font. If, you know, because you came on here and you put some text and you go, oh, looks really good in this, I'm going to use this. You don't have to have this on your computer. You can literally download it, install it in your Photoshop and your Word and your, whatever thing that you need it natively on your computer. And then when you're done, you can delete it again because you've got it here in Font Cloud, and you can just use it when you need it. It's really, really cool. Then you can also find different, you can see all of the different things that, or all of the different letters that are included in or characters, I guess, that are included in a particular font. So let's say I want just that little C copyright thing. When I click that, you see right here it says character copied to the clipboard. So now I can come back out here to the main area and paste that little C, the C with the circle, if you're listening to it. Yeah. And I can see it in all of, if they have it in any of these fonts, I can see it. I can see what it's going to look like. And I go, oh, you know what? I really like this one in this Melinda script. I can click in there. I can find it here. And then, copy that again. And then I can take that to wherever I want to go with it. I can put that in. I can literally go to my Word document and paste it in, or, I can upload it to Canva, or, there's all these different things that you can do once you've kind of have all of your fonts in here. It's just a really, really cool tool. And then, kind of the super amazing thing that you can do is if you have a subscription to Creative Fabrica, you can literally just go into Creative Fabrica and start downloading fonts like a maniac. Because, they have all kinds of incredible fonts that you've seen all over Etsy and all the other places. Just in the script fonts alone, they have 78,173 results. And you can download any of these and then just literally drag and drop them into your font cloud, and you can see what it's going to look like with whatever text you want to put on that t-shirt or that coffee mug or whatever design that you're doing. So, really, really, really cool tool. I'm very glad that I found it. I think you could probably see how this would benefit you, even just going in and saying, kind of almost like a really quick designer tool. If I have a phrase or something and I just want to see how a couple words look and I want to choose a font that I'm going to use, this is so easy. It's such an easy thing to do. So, check it out. You can go to printondemandcast.com/Creative Fabrica to get to Creative Fabrica's page. And then once you're there, it's pretty easy. You don't have to actually pay anything. You may have to sign up, like create an account or something, but you won't have to pay anything. And you get, I think, 2 gigs. And then if you do want to join, you can get like 20 gigs, so, but yeah, check it out and see if it's for you, see what you could do with it. I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts on like other ideas that you could do with this thing?
It seems like it's pretty, the ideas are kind of endless, especially when it comes to fonts. If you're doing graphic design, if you're doing text t-shirts, if you're doing, I've used stuff similar to this to find the font for my tattoos. You know what I mean? Like I use those all the time to get cool, unique fonts that fit the kind of vibe that I'm going for. So happens pretty frequently. And you made a YouTube video about it, kind of walking it through, kind of more in depth as well. So you can go to printondemandcast.com/YouTube, and you can watch the video. And then, like Travis said as well, you can go to printondemandcast.com/creativefabrica and sign up. Again, like I said, I'm not sure if you have to have a paid account, but we think it's free. So let us know how that goes when you visit the link. And let us know, and then show us what you do with it. I mean, show us how you implement it, show us what you create with it, and ways that you've kind of utilized this amazing tool, because it looks like a lot of fun, and I could spend a lot of time downloading fonts.
Yep.
That I mean, I do that sometimes anyway, just kind of get on a little weird little rabbit hole of looking at fonts. So it's the designer, I guess, in me, or however much that is. So, but check it out again, printondemandcast.com/creativefabrica, and see what it's all about. So with that being said, like at the top of the show, we talked about everyone's favorite subject, and it's getting into the time of the year when you're going to run into this more frequently, just from a pure volume standpoint, and that's angry customers. And so the question is, how do you deal with them? The answer on the other side of this familiar main event bumper.
Ladies and gentlemen, the main event.
I said the answers on the other side of the bumper. I could have just said our opinion of what we think the answers would be on the other side of that bumper. But
it's probably more accurate.
Yeah. So here's the deal. 95% of all customer communication is negative. Much like the news, the negative things make the most noise, get the most attention. Unfortunately, no one is going to just reach out and let you know how much your product is amazing and awesome and nailed it, and they didn't have to worry about it and it was perfect the first time. Unfortunately, you won't hear from those people a lot. You might want to try and get them to leave you a review or 2 or 3, but again, 95% of it is going to be negative. So the question is, how do you maintain a professional demeanor and not get super frustrated in these interactions? I think, I used to just kind of walk away. I would write the response and then I would delete it and then I'd walk away and then, just take some time to actually process what I want to say. Because usually your first initial reaction is not the right thing to say. I know Jason would do that a lot too. An Amazon customer would complain and he'd type out this long response. Then he'd read it out loud and then sit there and then delete it. Come back to it later.
Right.
Because you have to figure out a way that you can still maintain your professional demeanor, because the reputation of your shop really is what's on the line. If you kind of snap or lash out, there's such things called screenshots, and the internet lives forever. And so you never know what your response, where it will end up, what forum, what post, what Reddit thread, you could be all over the internet in the matter of minutes because you didn't take a second and think through the thing that you said in your response.
Yeah. I when we were doing this, our outline, I said, I've talked about sheep disease before, so I wasn't going to do it, but I lied, I guess, because so sheep disease is something that my pastor, my first pastor, when I was like 19, 20, 21, kind of cut my teeth in ministry with him. And he talked about sheep disease and how you have to be careful of it as a minister, and just, and basically the idea is that, if you're the shepherd and you have a bunch of sheep, you can get bitten by the sheep and get sheep disease. And this is kind of the same thing here. This, you can get bitten, quote unquote, bitten enough, by these upset customers, by this negative communication, that you can just kind of adopt customers are stupid, customers are dumb, I hate customers. You can adopt that. And not only will it not help you be good at customer service, it'll also just suck, it'll just make you miserable. And so why would you want to adopt that? And so before we even get into the things you can do, in these scenarios and what scenarios can even come up and all of that, I think we just need to address the mindset of, we are in the service industry. E-commerce is the service industry. And so, there's going to be times when you have to bite your tongue. That's just the way
Yep.
it is, but you're also just going to have to let that go, because that is
Yeah.
a constant thing. I've been doing this since 2014, and I've had plenty of times where, you've heard this, the customer is always right. Well, that's just not true. And you've probably experienced that, you've probably
Yep.
experienced, well, the customer's completely wrong here. What, like, why do I have to eat it? Why, this isn't
Right.
fair. And
Yeah.
that's the thing, though. We are in business, and doesn't have to be fair.
Yeah.
That's just the way business goes.
It's the way the cookie crumbles, unfortunately. But so when you're looking at this, you got to ask yourself kind of like, why is the customer upset? What triggered this reaction or this interaction that you're having with this customer? What did you do, or what did they perceive that you did? So there's usually 4 main reasons. Starting with 1, because of a mistake you or your vendor made, which is a direct reflection of you and your company, even if you're not doing production. I've said this 1,000 times, but your customer doesn't care that Printful is the one that fulfilled that shirt. That they could care less. You are the face of your company, so you are going to have to know how to resolve issues with a print provider like a Printful quickly, or what the process is, because you can diffuse the situation very quickly if you know and can speak to it intelligently how you are going to remedy that situation. Own the mistake, own it. When working with people, my one of the things I found out about myself is, if you own the mistake, if you're an employee of mine and I confront you with an issue and you own it, we can move on. If you pass the buck, it pisses me off.
Right.
And I have an issue, then the issue is then bigger than it was before, because you just won't own the mistake. So you've got to own.
Yeah. So that's if you or your vendor made a mistake. The next one, one of the main reasons that a customer could become upset is because of a mistake somebody else made. So it's not necessarily it's not you or your vendor. Maybe it's the post office, and they delivered it to the wrong house, or
A porch pirate.
there was a porch pirate. Theft. I actually was trying to get a debit card for one of my companies, and I've tried it twice and it didn't come multiple times. So finally I called. I'm like, what is going on? Why can't you guys get me a freaking debit card? They're like, oh, sir, what's your address? I realized I had entered my address incorrectly. It was my mistake, not theirs. I was pissed. And so we fixed that thing, and I went in today, and I'm going to get my debit card in 2 days. So
nice.
I was an angry customer because I thought that it was their mistake, but it was actually mine. And that can happen a lot of times. And the person that dealt with me on the phone was very patient and very, I'm so sorry that this was incorrect, but now we've got it fixed. All you have to do is stop into this, and they made a way where there was no way. So it doesn't necessarily have to be you or your vendor. It can also be completely out of your control, but it's still going to reflect on you. And you're still going to have to figure it out. But let's keep going with the main reasons.
Number 3, because they had unrealistic expectations. So this, again, you're going to find out that a lot of this can be circumvented or prevented by effective communication on the front end, especially this one. And so how did you communicate in your listing, in your mock-up? Did you clearly detail, or did you give them, is there some gray area there where you didn't communicate the correct expectations in the product? Did you not say that it was a Gildan when they thought it was going to be a Bella, or that kind of thing? Like, you need to really figure out how to effectively and precisely communicate exactly what the customer can expect, so that when they get it, even if they do call you and have an unrealistic expectation that hasn't been met, you can point to your listing and say, this is what it said in the listing. And to Travis's point, that's just the like the debit card thing. Like, oh, well, you're right. That was on me. My bad.
Exactly. If you guys are, I'm going to take a little quick tangent here, because if you're a subscriber to the newsletter, and you can get the newsletter printondemandcast.com, just put your email in there. last couple of weeks, I've been sharing about the Etsy issue that's been going around the internet. A lot of people have been reporting that, they've gotten shut down, and it was all
Yeah.
about mock-ups and all of this. And what it really, once we finally heard something back from Etsy legal, we found out that primarily what's happening is exactly what you just said, Josiah. Someone is selling a Bella canvas shirt, but they've got a Gildan mock-up.
Right.
And so the customer gets something and it's not accurately represented in the listing, and their expectations, they're not, we talked about unrealistic expectations. They actually had realistic expectations. You created an unrealistic expectation because you had the wrong size chart on there, or you had, the wrong type of lid on your drinkware. It didn't have a straw. And they were like, well, where the hell's my straw? And they're pissed because your mock-up had a straw. And so all I want to say about that is, like, this could not only create an upset customer, this could also get your account shut down. So this is kind of a big deal here when we're talking about accurately representing on your listing exactly what you are selling, specifically and especially when it comes to mock-ups. But you can also put a whole lot of other good information in those descriptions that you can then reference later, as it said in the description, blah, 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 blah. It may not, fix everything, but it'll certainly help.
Yeah. And it's kind of a CYA measure more than anything for you, the seller. And then the fourth reason, again, it kind of ties into all of this, because they misread the listing or made a mistake on their end. Rare, but it still happens. But when you have those things communicated clearly in the listing, you can refer to that, and you have covered your track, covered your end, your bases, to know that you were as forthright and communicative and accurate as possible in your listing.
But it still might make you want to, jump off a bridge because you're just so frustrated, Again, I keep bringing it back to that. You're only going to be in e-commerce for any length of time if you can shake some of this stuff off. You got to be able to just be like, it's all good.
Water off a duck's back. That whole
exactly. Be a duck.
Be a duck.
Be a duck.
Next, should that be a shirt? Be a duck at printoutamagaz.com/shop. So next, what can or should you do about this particular problem that they're presenting you with? First of all, it is good and advantageous to have some basic email message templates that address each possible problem. So you can have a template for a broken, damaged product. You can have a template for someone not receiving the package, but tracking shows it's delivered. You can have a template for a cancel request after production has started. So that way you can just copy paste, fill in the specifics, make it personalized, tailor it, what have you. But the bulk of it is going to stay the same. And it just saves you a lot of time, and you can know which one you're going to fire off, or your VA is going to respond with whenever those things come up. Yeah.
So I was just going to read a couple that we use just so you guys have an idea. So on Amazon and pretty much any channel, we sell a lot of mugs. And so we'll get, people that they receive a broken mug or whatever. Sometimes we'll just see a return request, and in the return request, it says this was damaged. And at that point, I try to email them before they send it back. Because this one can actually save you money, because if they send it back, it's on your dime. If they, and if who wants a broken mug? Like, why? I don't want you to send this back. I want you to throw it in the garbage, like I'm going to do when I receive it. However, our new vendor, Guten, requires a picture of the broken mug, so they will refund it. So here's what I wrote. I said, I'm sorry your mug was, hello or hi, whoever. I'm sorry your mug was broken when you received it. We try our best to make sure they're ready to ship, but unfortunately we can't control what happens after the post office gets them. That said, we obviously don't need you to return the mug. You can just throw it away. We'd like to offer you a choice. we can certainly send you a new one, or we can just refund your order. Either way, we'll need an image of the mug to process the refund or the replacement. Let us know which you prefer and send that image so we can process everything on our end for you. Again, very sorry for the inconvenience. And that is a pretty dang good template. I catch a lot of things before they come back, so I save that return shipping. I also get images that I can then get a free replacement or refund depending on what the customer wants. And it saves me, that one template saves me a ton of money. And you can have templates, I've got a great one for they did not receive it, but it says it's delivered. And it says, let's see. I'm sorry to hear you haven't received your package. USPS delivery confirmation tracking data shows that it was delivered on, and I literally go to the tracking data and copy and paste the stuff from that. It says at the post or at the, mailbox at 7:18 or whatever a.m. or whatever. And then I say, please verify this is your current mailing address. I copy and paste that. And then I say, if this is the correct address, we suggest you consider pursuing the following steps. Again, trying to get them to participate in this thing. 1, check with other members of your household to see if anyone may have put your package aside. This happens a lot. Number 2, if you are in a townhouse or apartment, contact the rental or sales office to see if they're holding your package. Some packages won't fit in the mailbox, so carriers will often leave packages at a manager's office for safekeeping. That has happened a lot. 3, if you receive mail in a postal locker, check with neighbors to see if your carrier used the wrong locker. Again, that's happened. 4th, call the delivery supervisor at your local post office with the tracking number, and then I paste their tracking number in there and ask them if they can assist you further. They can speak directly with your mail carrier to verify the package was delivered and where it was left. Please let us know if none of these actions result in receiving your order. Thank you for your patience. My store. And so all of this, like, you will not believe how many times I don't hear from these people ever again. Because they do find it, next door, or they go to the rental office and the manager has it, or, whatever. There's a million different reasons that they don't contact me. But having that, it makes it so much easier for me to just get through those customer service emails and not, want to throw a small child, I don't know, over a fence. Or, I don't know. Exactly. Just one of those terrible, terrible, terrible things that no one wants to do.
Exactly. And also, I mean, some of the templates that you send also, it can be channel dependent. There's different protocols for Etsy, Shopify, Amazon. So you'll have to kind of vet the reasons as well. And depending on the platform you're on and their policies, you can kind of curtail it or, customize it to that. Like to Travis's point, does your supplier require pictures of a damage issue or damage to issue a replacement or a refund? Make sure you include that in there. In Travis's case, Guten does require that. So you need to require or, add and include that information to that template email so that the customer knows that it's happening.
Yeah. I mean, to your point about channel being channel dependent, like Amazon's going to refund, if the customer, feels like, it's a bad day, like it's too cold that day. And, I want to return this because it's cold outside. All right, sure. Here's the seller's money I'm going to give to you. And that's Amazon's, it's customer centric. They go above and beyond to serve the customer and will refund at a, just the drop of a hat. Yeah. So if you can get in between that, when they want the refund before they've sent it back, you can get, in there and have a conversation that'll help you a lot. Like Shopify is really your own platform, and you can create your own policies and say there are no returns, or there's only a return for a broken, product with a picture, no picture, no refund. And so you can do that on Shopify, on Etsy. They can run it up the flagpole a little bit, but you can have no returns turned on Etsy. And I would, if you're doing print on demand, I would recommend that. And I would do the same thing. I'd try to put it in there, refund provided with valid picture of damaged item or something like that. But they're all channel dependent, and you need to know what that channel is expecting of you,
Right.
and what they're going to do in spite of what you do. And it like Amazon doesn't care what you do.
Right.
So that's kind of like just trying to figure it out as you go along. Shopify and Etsy, you have a little more. Like I'm still gonna have to refund the guy on Amazon that has a broken mug, even if he doesn't send me a picture,
Right.
because Amazon's gonna do it, not
Right.
me. But on Etsy, maybe I don't have to. On Shopify, I
Right.
definitely don't have to.
Yeah. So
Cool.
and the next thing as well, I mean, you want to make sure, if there's any follow-up that's needed, you just
Right.
set a reminder, send new tracking once the replacement ships, just make sure you're doing your follow-up as well. That always goes well to maybe even kind of salvaging the relationship between yourself and the customer. If you're doing that on the back end, maybe they won't leave a bad review. Maybe they'll give you a good review and it might say, hey, I had a problem with my order, but man, Travis really was good at following up with me, got it solved right away. That's also great to see on a review page as well. So just make sure that you are, setting those reminders for any follow-up that's needed. But again, in the end, it's only you that can prevent forest fires. In my mind, it was the joke about the monk that sells flowers, and it was
What
forest
joke?
fires.
Oh,
Yeah, don't support monks that sell flowers because only you can prevent florist friars. So,
florist friars.
yeah.
Do you want to use that? I mean, is that good enough for
No,
daily?
that was completely, on a whim. I don't even know that's how the joke goes, to be completely honest with you. However,
I like it though.
Here's what you can do to prevent a bad customer experience. Again, check your listing descriptions. Spell out what the customer should expect and spell out how long it should take. Even pad a day if you feel like it's necessary, but manage those expectations. Make sure you're communicating after the sale happens, or to let them know you received the order. Send them the tracking email. Send them up a follow-up email when the package has been delivered. See how things are going. But that is dependent on you, and you can do a lot of work on the front end and preparation on the front end to circumvent this interaction that happens.
Yeah, it's particularly on Etsy. There's so much you can do to communicate with your buyers in a really easy way. Like that Etsy app that they have for Messenger, that they redid it a few years ago, and the new one's just amazing. And you can literally, it's almost like texting, with your buyer, and you can really create a lot of goodwill between you. And so if something bad does happen, you have kind of some credit to draw on, some feel good credit. Some equity. And so the other thing that, some of these practices, these best practices, that Josiah just talked about, like particularly like with that follow-up email, that's a great time or great opportunity to like create, to ask for an email, to start building an email list, of buyers that have come, so there's an opportunity here that is beyond just keeping everybody, happy. There's business building that can come out of this, if you play it right. But yeah, I mean, that's really it. I mean, make sure your listing descriptions say what they say, or say what they're supposed to say, and they get, all the expectations are clear. Your listing pictures are exactly, I cannot stress this enough, exactly what you are selling. You're telling them how long it's going to take. You're, maybe even saying your refund policy. There are no refunds. I know you could set that in one place, but you can, even put it in your description on Etsy as well. You have to send us a picture, whatever. And then, just try to communicate as best you can, as and after the sale happens, and there's automated like tools that you can use for that as well. But depending, if you don't get a whole lot of emails, or a whole lot of orders, make a template that, every week you go and send to everybody that bought something from you that week. And, since X day or whatever, and it's been delivered, and you send them all a follow-up email and make sure everything's good. And you ask for their email and you start building a list, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Fantastic. Travis, anything else before we wrap this one up? Anything you want to add? I know you were talking about your soccer, your football, you're watching a soccer game. I don't know. Anything you want to add to the end of this episode that you would put a button on it?
Yeah, I was telling him earlier about a girl way back in the day that I used to date. And like on one of our first dates, she told me that she was a goalie on her soccer team.
Yeah.
And I immediately knew two things. I knew she's a keeper. And two, it's going to be really hard to score.
Well, there's the actual dad joke of the week this week. Yeah, that was good. It was like a double whammy. It's like one there. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to this week's. So hopefully you got some tips and advice in how to deal with angry customers. If you have any other questions, or if you have a story you want to share about an angry customer that maybe you salvaged on the back end, let us know. We love hearing your story. We love hearing what you guys are experiencing as well out there in your business on the day-to-day. You can do that by joining the Facebook group, printondemandcast.com/Facebook, and joining the community. We're also on printondemandcast.com/Instagram and /YouTube. Again, go there, printondemandcast.com/YouTube, to see Travis's video in full about Font Cloud and learn more about that as well. And you can go to printondemandcast.com/CreativeFabrica to check that out for yourself. Be a duck. Is it going to be a t-shirt? We don't know, but if it is, it'll be on printondemandcast.com/shop, and we'll be sure to let you all know that we've released the shirt Be a Duck. Maybe we should do like a design contest, like, someone submits the best design for a shirt that's Be a Duck, and then we'll add it to the store. That could be fun. I think that would be a great competition to suddenly just announce right now. But printondemandcast.com/shop is where you can do that. And again, printondemandcast.com, you can sign up for the weekly newsletter, get tips, tricks, tidbits, and an extra dad joke each and every week, which is what everyone wants. I know that. And as I mentioned at the top, wherever you're listening to this, if you could do us a favor and leave us a review on iTunes, you can leave a star rating and a comment. On Spotify, just a star rating. But it definitely helps us get in front of the right people and let people know that we're here, that our information is here as well. And that, if it could help someone that text the show to someone, post it to Facebook, post it to Instagram, send it to your ex feed, which used to be Twitter, or send it to your actual ex. I don't know what her business is. It's not my business, but send it to her. Also, if you subscribe to the weekly newsletter, you'll get an annual design calendar, which is actually a really super handy tool to let you know things that are coming up that you should be thinking about, holidays, occasions that will help you get on the front end of the design game for your business. And lastly, ISS Long Beach, January. Sign up. You can go. Is it ISS? Should they just search ISS.com or Long Beach? Or I don't even know what the website is.
If you search ISS Long Beach, it does come up.
Yes.
And it's impressionsexpo.com is what it actually is.
Impressionsexpo.com. Go there, register. It's like $25 to register right now to be on the trade show floor. We want to see you guys there. We probably will have a dad joke t-shirt again. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be a good time. But we'd love to see you there and interact with you guys. Last year was a lot of fun. We met a lot of great people, had a lot of good interviews, and we would love to do the same thing this year as well and to see all of you there. So with that being said, for Travis, I'm Josiah, and we'll see you next time right here on the Print on Demand cast.
See ya.
Hey, babe. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Print on Demand cast. We hope you enjoyed the Totally Tubular Show. If you got a question or a suggestion for the show, send Travis and Josiah an email at info@printondemandcast.com. Want to be wicked nice? Take a minute to rate and review the show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to subscribe now so you don't miss next week's episode. See you next time, for sure.